You don't have to buy from Amazon, and buying from Barnes & Noble is not your only alternative. I'm Professor Einstein, and I just so happen to be giving a lecture about Amazon today. Well, I'm going to share that with you. Before this class, I have students watch, there's a 2-hour Frontline episode about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. If you can stomach it, go watch it. It has a lot of information that will help you to understand why he chose the book business. It will also explain to you that he was willing, and the stock market was willing for him not to have profits for a very long period of time. And if you remember or you know, Facebook worked the same way. Part of the reason why Bezos started with books is the idea of the long tail. And the long tail is that there are bestsellers, which a lot of people buy, but then there's a lot of other books that go further down on the tail that are just kinds of things that a few people will want. But if you have a lot of those things that just a few people want, then you can make a business from it. Now, brick and mortar stores can't do this because they can't afford to carry millions and millions and millions of titles, but Jeff Bezos can. Amazon is also banking on the idea of convenience. Once you've logged on to the site, they send everything to you overnight, or even less in some places, that you're just going to go there and buy as many things as you can. You're in one place. Walmart works under the same premise. Another thing that Walmart does and Amazon does is the idea of the loss leader. A loss leader is something that is sold at a loss. It's sold under market price so that you will come in, you will want to buy the really inexpensive thing, and then you will stay there to buy all these other things. What do you think Prime Day is all about? And speaking of Prime Day, the really smart thing behind that is that Amazon doesn't do any of the selling. It's all the influencers who have affiliate links who are saying how wonderful these products are. So it's not Amazon telling you that the products are great. It's the influencer that you have come to trust that is telling you that the products are really great. Okay, so let's talk about the books specifically. I have to read these numbers or I'm going to get them wrong. Amazon generates $28 billion a year worldwide from books. $28 billion. They control 50% of all new book sales in the US, and they're responsible for about 80% of all book distribution. I'm not saying those numbers are small, they're not, but it doesn't mean they own everything. And in fact, I'm gonna bet, given everything that's going on, you're going to see those numbers start to fall. And of course, what drives their business is not just the physical books, but also books sold on Kindle, Audible, and they have their own publishing. The growth of self-publishing is happening an awful lot on Amazon. But let's put that into perspective in terms of their overall business. Their overall business in 2024 was over $600 billion. $600 billion, and the book business was $28 billion of that. I don't have this information annualized, but I have it for the fourth quarter of 2024, and about $50 billion, almost $55 billion is made from store sales. $34 billion is made from third-party seller services. That's what they charge people to sell through their site. $25 billion is for Amazon web sales. $11 billion, almost $12 billion is from advertising. $10 billion from subscriptions, some from their physical stores, but those haven't been doing very well, and then the other category. But let's go back and talk about advertising for a second, because this is an area that's particularly interesting. It wasn't that long ago that Meta and Google were supposed to be taking over the digital ad space. And they still do dominate the ad space, but Amazon is coming up on their heels in no small way. In fact, last year, they sold $47 billion in advertising, and that's expected to grow considerably. The reason Amazon is able to sell so much more than their competitors is that they are more top of mind, meaning as soon as people want to buy something, Amazon is the first place that they go. If they don't know what they want, they go to Google to search. If they do know what they want, they go to Amazon. 57% of online shopping searches start with Amazon. Amazon doesn't think of itself as a media company. It thinks of itself as a tech platform. And they created the subscription because they want to keep you in that space. Because by keeping you in that space, they are more able to collect unending data about you. So Amazon Prime and winning a Golden Globe, Bezos has famously said, is about selling more shoes. They don't care about winning the award. That's their lost leader. And people who have the Prime subscription buy more, a lot more, than the people who don't. If you want to learn more about how Amazon keeps you enmeshed in their system and how the technology works to do that, I recommend watching Buy Now, The Shopping Conspiracy. Some of you may recognize me from that documentary on Netflix, but I recommend you watch this particular person's discussion about it. She used to work for Amazon, and she was one of the early employees who created the system. One last thing I will say about Amazon, and that is because they are horizontally integrated, meaning that they have products across platforms, across categories, they are able to produce content that you watch that looks like a program, but actually is an hour or a half-hour long commercial. And I'm thinking here about Savage by Fenty or Making the Cut. And with Making the Cut, which was a takeoff of Project Runway, the clothing that was made on that show was sold through Amazon, and it sold out right away. So it was like, watch the program, we'll get the data about you, we'll send you to our store, you'll buy the stuff, we'll get more data, and we get your money. Win, 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 win for Amazon.